Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson, and we've come to our final position group that we're highlighting in an effort to preview the upcoming season of Texas Tech football. So as the timing of taping this and when this is published, just a day away from Texas Tech opening the season. So that's pretty exciting. Against Houston there, 6 p.m. Central Time at NRG Stadium there in Houston against the Houston Cougars. So on ESPN, so big stage for Texas Tech. It's a big game. There's a very good chance if they win this, they start 3-0 the season because they play Stephen F. Austin, they play Florida International after that at home before opening Big 12 play. So it's just a big game coming up, and it's a big season for a multitude of reasons. The coaching staff, also with all the conference realignment going on, Texas Tech needs to have a good year. No matter where you stand on how much that might affect, the win-loss record might affect that, it wouldn't hurt to have a good year, right? And I know you Texas Tech fans out there could really use it. So let's go. We're going to wrap this position group series with the all-important offensive line group. And this is a group that's been one of my primary focuses this offseason because first off, going into spring, I was like, I knew this is going to be a position group that needs work. And then when I saw them in the spring, I kind of panicked a little bit in terms of for Texas Tech fans, because they didn't look good. Dawson Deaton, their 4-year starter at center, one of their best players on the team, he was out. So that's worth mentioning. But other than the addition of TJ Stormont, the left tackle, he transferred it from TCU, I became really nervous because he looked not just as good as advertised, but better. He's looked just solid. I don't think I've seen him have a bad day. Has he been beaten once or twice? Sure. Who doesn't get beaten every once in a while? But ultimately, he looks like a future NFL player. He looks really good. So that's huge at left tackle. That's a big deal. But I'm really happy to say that, and I actually asked Tyler Shuck this earlier in the week, the starting quarterback, how much has the offensive line progressed from spring through fall camp and up now to on the eve of kickoff? And he said tremendously, which I would agree with that. In terms of just how much I saw them go heads up with the defensive line, which is a veteran group, which I think is a pretty solid, I already talked about, defensive line group this year at Texas Tech. They really improved. Like I said, bringing Deaton back at center was huge. I think Josh Berger, who started all 10 games at right tackle last year, for one, he got bigger. For two, I think him moving into right guard, I think in spring he struggled with some of those guys and a lot of people struggle with these guys like Jalen Hutchings and Tony Bradford. He struggled at first, heads up, and those guys are bulls in there. But I think, like I said, settling in with Dawson Deaton has really helped him in his development. He's gotten a lot better. He's bigger. He came in, he said at 275, which is way too small for offensive lineman, Power 5 level, and he's up to 305 now. So he could tell. So he's got that want to, which is all important. So I feel pretty good now about Berger. I feel good about Weston Wright, as long as Dawson Deaton's there with him, anchoring them. I love Stormont at left tackle. And I think the biggest deal for me is Caleb Rogers at right tackle has really improved. They threw him out there because they had to. They had no choice at left tackle some last year as a true freshman. And, he struggled at times, but he also showed that potential. He's athletic. He's strong. He's physically developed for his age, for being so young. He's a team captain despite being so young. And I tell you what, in the Pandemonium scrimmage, the defense coordinator, Keith Patterson, really, he dialed up some blitzes. And I really was pleasantly surprised with what a good job that Caleb Rogers did picking it up. The communication, just the ability, the athleticism, all that, he has it. So I think there's a lot of hope for this starting group. Now, behind them, I feel better about the interior. Landon Peterson at guard, I think, has really come on. I think he's going to be a player. I think Clayton Franks can play center or either the guard spot, so I like them. Ethan Card, he's a big dude. He's young, too. People forget how young he is. He came from JUCO, but after only one season, so he's really young, too. But he's a big dude. He has changed his body. He's healthy now, and he wasn't last year, so if he could come on, that would help a lot. And then there's some other younger guys, but that's really who you're talking about in the main group, So you really need, to me, the key, all of them staying healthy. I mean, you could always say the offensive line staying healthy is a big deal. But I really feel like if Stormont and Deaton stay healthy, that gives Texas Tech a really good chance of having a productive offense, given some of the other position groups I covered, just how talented they are and how much depth they have. So I really believe it's a huge key to the season, And sometimes you see an offensive line make it almost through the entire season, or maybe one guy go down. Sometimes you see almost an entirely new group. So, it's really a roll of the dice. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I do really like the starting group and the first couple of backups. And we'll have to see what happens from there. It should be an exciting season. I'm really looking forward to it. I really appreciate y'all watching this entire season. We're going to have tons more videos throughout the year, of course. So keep it on Inside the Red Raiders. Thanks for watching, and until next time.